Super Bowl 52 champions, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. Just a short time ago, these Philly fans in full roar as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. Pyrotechnics ablaze. They're set to go as their Eagles will match up with the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's the kicker, Jake Elliott, ready to get this one started. And off we go from Lincoln Financial Field. And no run back on the opening kickoff. It'll come out to the 25. And with the play clock winding down, we're going to get a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. And now the Eagles going to signal for a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. They're going to bury him in the backfield. Call it officially a loss of 2 on the first play from scrimmage. Second down. Shotgun snap to Mahomes. And this one caught by Travis Kelce. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. Good job there to locate his tight end, Charles, in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he has good pass-catching abilities, and if they're able to continue to find him here in the early going, I think it'll help out his teammates out on the perimeter. You can take the big shots later if he occupies their attention.
First and 10, it's Edwards-Helaire with it. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Not the kind of gain that we'll go absolutely crazy for, but it's the kind of gain that you need to have when you're running back in the NFL. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, with that low center of gravity and strength, he's going to get those tough, gritty yards for you when necessary.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. A shotgun snap and a give to Edwards-Helaire. Only gets 3 yards there on the heels of the 1-yard pickup. Sets up 3rd and 6. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
The Eagles call on the extra defensive back here as they prepare for a stop on 3rd down. Mahomes going to throw. Trying to get it to Robinson, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Alex Singleton. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. Offensively, a far from ideal start there with a pick on the opening drive.
Yeah, not exactly what they were looking for. We know that. That's pretty obvious. The beauty, though, is it's happening early. If they don't panic, they don't compound this problem, they've got a long way to go and a chance to get back in it.
It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
6 yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Hurts a handoff to Sanders. And tough sledding. He'll get maybe a yard. Stop short of the 35. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
On 3rd down, they'll run it with Sanders. And he's able to pick up the first before he's taken down at the 27.
How best to describe that one? I'd say right down Broadway on that run.
A straight-ahead running. I think that might be something we see a lot of between the tackles today.
Well, he's enjoying things so far here this afternoon. Sees a crease and bursts through it for a solid gain.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And he'll lose yardage here. Going down back at the 28. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
A quick observation, Brandon, because early on in this game, I'm seeing linebackers playing with their noses close to the line of scrimmage.
And my guess is the wheels are turning on that other sideline. As a play caller, you're filing that away right now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're trying to find that opportunity later on when you can play action them or stick something to them between the 2nd and the 3rd level.
He gets them a little over half of what they needed. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 5.
All right, Brandon, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
Now on 3rd down, an extra DB out there for the Chiefs. Hurts sets up to throw it. And he's got his man. It's the tight end Goddard. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6.
And in a lot of ways, that catch is expected. Red zone presence, and that one was realized there. You've got to find your tight end in that situation.
They'll run with Sanders. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play that time, and it sets up 2nd and goal. Once again with Sanders. And he gets him a little bit closer. He takes it from the 6 inside the 5 to the 4.
His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
Big play coming here. It's 3rd and goal.
Right there, 54, right there, 54 Mike.
Throwing is Hurts. And he is going to go down. Back at the 11-yard line. And that sack brings up 4th and goal, a loss of 7. Big play. Now to try the Eagle field goal, Jake Elliott. The kick by Elliott is good. And the Eagles, they take a 3-0 lead. In the end, the opening drive, Charles, does yield points. Maybe not the touchdown that they wanted, though.
Yeah, but bottom line, they wanted to get something out of that drive, and they did that. 3 points, they won't turn that down at all.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, only gave up 3 points off of that, so shouldn't be a difficult hole to overcome.
It really shouldn't, as long as they're not listening to the chatter coming from the other side, because when you throw a pick, look, I know defensive backs, they have a tendency to be a little bit loud after they take one away, but they also have a tendency to gamble a little bit more, thinking they'll get a second one. Maybe they can take advantage of that with some double moves.
And he'll be corralled right around the 34. He's obviously a bit of a shorter running back. Sometimes when he goes up the middle like that, he gets lost in there and then he pops out for 10, 20 yards.
I actually asked NFL linebackers if that was true. Do you actually lose sight of some of the smaller running backs? And all of them confirmed that that can be a problem. Think of it this way. 2 of the top running backs in NFL history, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, both 5'10".
And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. Working from the gun, Mahomes. That's caught. It's Demarcus Robinson. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
Edwards-Helaire as they run out of the gun. And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking up 8. You often say that sort of opens the playbook now, 2nd and short. What do you think, early shot here?
I like where you're going. Obviously, we've been together for a while because you know me. I want to take that shot early and loosen things up.
8 yards the tally on that first down run. Here's 2nd and 2. Mahomes taps this forward. It's a jet sweep. And he'll only get a yard to bring up 3rd and 1.
That's a nice job there defensively, being able to diagnose that little touch pass. They saw it coming, converged on it before he could get much out of it.
So 3rd and 2. This quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped. From the gun, it's Mahomes. He is going to find Hill here. And he will have a Chiefs first down by a couple of yards as they're able to convert there on 3rd and 1. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. it's Edwards-Helaire. And this may be a carbon copy as he'll again be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Back-to-back stops make it 3rd and 10. To throw, it's Mahomes. This pass going to be caught by Hardman. And they're able to get this one past the 30 to the 25-yard line.
Did you see that route the way that I did? I thought he was trying to get deep.
Yeah, that wasn't the first option.
No, it came off of that guy, the deep guy, and came underneath on the drag, completed it very well.
Now a carry for Edwards-Helaire. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground, but I think the play gets made by the defensive front because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
2nd down, back to Edwards-Helaire. And he's going to take this close to the first down marker as he stopped at the Eagle 16. Good work to pick up 7 yards there. That gets him into a 3rd and 1 situation. Edwards-Helaire, they'll try to run for it. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. 40 yards rushing for him now as he's run it 11 times.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? That looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there.
And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. It's a gain of a couple, and it'll be 2nd and goal. Be interesting to see now what they do offensively down near the goal line after not much there that time.
As the offensive play caller, that may change your sequence now. Instead of coming right back with a running play, you may have to go to the air.
And he is in. Touchdown, Kansas City. Darrell Williams taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Chiefs have taken the lead. That almost looked too easy, and I think thanks goes to the offensive line for making it look easy.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that one. I'm not sure how much everyone understands the preparations that go into a game for an offensive line, because there's a reason that running backs and quarterbacks give them big gifts at the end of a season after a big year. The consistency and the continuity it takes to know each other and execute their blocks is pretty impressive.
Extra point by Butker is on target, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. Fielded just outside the goal line. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6.
And that's caught inside the 35. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Jalen Reagor, 73 yards. And once again, the Eagles are back out in front. On for the extra point, Jake Elliott. And it's through, and that makes the lead 10-7. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. Last time they were out here, they had the benefit of good field position, led to a touchdown. This time, they're going to have to work for it.
They are, but with that last drive, that culminating touchdown, I think they carry that confidence into this one. Doesn't matter where you start with the football now, they have to feel great about their opportunity.
Despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. Second down. .7 our score after 1 right here on EA Sports. On second down, a run with Edwards-Helaire. And he roams across the 20 to the 24-yard line. 50 yards rushing for him now to this point.
On a second and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that let...
All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off at the 30. And he's going to return it to the 21-yard line. You don't see this often. A quarterback of his caliber, 2 first-half interceptions.
It's absolutely surprising because it happens so rarely. You're searching for what reason, what's going on out there. It's not just maybe the defense is playing well. Is his horoscope off? His biorhythms? What is it?
You went horoscope on us, David.
Well, I was thinking maybe REM sleep was off. I'm trying to come up with something.
Anything, right? On first down, it's Sanders. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Second down, back to Sanders. And he'll get it here to the 10-yard line.
They were not fooling around at all, were they? 2nd and short, and they brought out the heavy package. Almost like the super heavy package against that defense, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they expected that much beef up front, and it turned into an easy first down conversion. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he'll take this from the 9 down to about the 7. Defensively, pretty good start there with their backs against the wall.
That's a win for the stop troops right there. And if I'm them, I get a little bolder now. They won the first battle. Keep coming after them. Put the pressure on them.
On second down, it's Sanders. And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. Miles Sanders taking it in from 7 yards away. And the Eagles had 6 to their lead. Elliott good on the extra point. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. Second down and 8. They'll run here with Edwards-Helaire. Just a couple on the pickup there, and now it's third down. 2 yards on the first down carry, and then followed up by 2 yards on the second down carry.
Well, that's definitely not going to be enough to get the job done. Wasn't the expression 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
Now they're going to need 6 on third down to keep the drive going. Throwing is Mahomes on third. Open man, it's the tight end Kelsey. And he finally goes out of bounds across the opposite 40. Mahomes finding his tight end Kelsey for a big one. 43 yards.
Now that one hurts defensively. They force him into third and long, had the advantage, yet they give up the big play right there.
Yeah, their offense was already warming up on the sideline, ready to come out. So much for that 3 and out. So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Now Edwards-Helaire. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
Here's Edwards-Helaire. And they'll lose yardage here. Knocked back to the 19-yard line. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty. But when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
Maybe just a slight detour on what's been a strong drive. Here's 2nd and 11. Now a handoff here to his running back. He's dropped just inside the 20. A little second effort there, but couldn't find a whole lot of space. The second down play, not much better than the first. Just a gain of 1 there. 7th play of this drive coming up, and a long way to go on third down. Throwing now is Mahomes. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by Rodney McLeod. And the Eagles are going to get it back here just shy of the 20.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
They start on the ground here at Sanders. Stopped at the 24-yard line after a gain of 5.
Brandon, 5 yards on that run. Let's get back to the huddle and make sure if you're a back, you spend time with your offensive line and give them credit. Hard to move those 300-plus pounders at the line of scrimmage, and they did for a significant chunk of yardage.
53 is the mark. 53. Check 53. Hey, keep it up. Keep it up.
Second down, back to Sanders. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. 60 yards rushing for him as he has been tough to stop here this first half.
Now this is an example of breaking down a defense because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Get this one up to about the 39 here. Give him 4 yards there on the first down keeper.
End result of that one, a nice 4-yard gain, so you can use that to set up your play-action game, or you can come right back and continue to run the football because as an offensive play caller, you're on schedule and feeling pretty good about your next couple of calls.
And he'll be brought down just shy of the 45.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
They'll try to run for it with Howard. And he's got the first down yardage as he brings this up to the 47.
That's quite a spot there for his first carry of the game, but obviously they had plenty of faith in him, didn't they?
No question about it. And here, why not go with the fresh legs? Able to push forward, pick up that first. possessions on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. On the draw, here's Sanders. And he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
And that's what I'd like to see out of this defense, a little fire, a little toughness. It hasn't been the best first half for them, but they did do a nice job there, forcing a loss on that play.
Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss. Shotgun snap, and then the give to Sanders. And he'll take it across the 50 and into Chief territory.
You've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
The Eagles on 3rd down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 4. Here's Hurts to throw. And this is going to be caught, but they'll say out of bounds. So it's incomplete. Down, he tried to stay in bounds, did all he could. He caught it, but was led a little bit too far.
Yeah, and that's always difficult, isn't it? Because you know half of your body is trying to stay behind while the other half is reaching out, trying to catch the football. The top half worked. It was the bottom half that was in question.
Here's Aaron Sipos out now to punt on 4th down. And how about this, a fake? Oh, but this is going to backfire as it's intercepted. It's the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And the Chiefs will take over possession here up at the 44. Well, if you're ever going to try the fake punt, this would seem to be the place to do it, but it doesn't work out.
Yeah, you got to make sure you throw it to your guys and not the other team. But yes, in this spot on the field, only needing a few yards for a first, I think that decision was okay and spot on. The problem was the execution. It was not.
Here's Edwards-Helaire as they will start on the ground. And boy, this defense again really making things tough on him as they stop him for no gain.
I don't think any of us were surprised that they decided to start this drive on the ground after the last 2 drives ended in interceptions.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot going on that first play.
Yeah, I think the anticipation was felt also by the defense.
Second down, back to Edwards-Helaire. And a minimal gain here as he's up to about the 47-yard line. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Now here's Mahomes. And a dangerous throw there as that's knocked down and incomplete. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to build off the turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part. It got them the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they're going to have to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football, and now zapped right back in the other direction. On is the punter, Townsend, as he gets this one away. And he can't field it cleanly. It's loose, and it's picked up by the Chiefs. Wait a second, that's got to be a mistake. They declined it.
That doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, it doesn't at all, because you want that penalty. All right, they just picked up a first down, right? You want the penalty.
I am so confused right now. So a big play as it gets them all the way down to the 20 now for 1st and 10. And to give this time to the tailback. And not much to speak of there. Maybe a yard down to the 20.
Defenses always talk about earning the right to rush the passer on 3rd down. And you know what offenses want? Win 1st down so they can set things up for themselves better.
And that wasn't helpful there. Not a big impact on 1st down. Second down, back to Edwards-Helaire. And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a force of nature at the defensive tackle position. Yes, he's as big as they come, but still plenty agile. He's able to make a nice play there to swallow up the ball carrier.
Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. That's their second, so they'll have one remaining here in this second quarter. We'll be right back. Well, good field position to start the drive, but under the gun now here on 3rd and 8. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. Disaster there, resulting in a loss of 7 on 3rd down. So on 4th down, Mahomes off, Harrison Butker on for the Chiefs field goal. From the left hash mark, this a 43-yard attempt. And he missed it. It's no good. And this score will stay right where it is.
Well, this winds up an empty possession. Everything looked okay. He just never got the ball on target. And knowing him, he'll be disappointed with that effort.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. Now this one to his tight end out on the right side. Touchdown, Eagles! Dallas Goedert, 66 yards. And the Eagles are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. I tell you, for a defender, that's got to be a scary sight, seeing a big man like this with a head of steam behind him as he makes that catch and then turns upfield.
Yeah, normally when you talk about tight ends, you immediately begin talking about them rumbling down the field. But to me, he was pretty well gliding downfield there. Very athletic for a big man, and he takes this one all the way to pay dirt.
Elliott good with a PAT, and that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Fields this way up at the 17. And he's all the way up across the 40 and down at the 42. Great return.
At some point, we're going to get it through our heads. Special teams, special teams, special teams. The spark that often wins games.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And they've got to be a little bit frustrated about that last drive, missed field goal.
Always hurts a team because, you've put something out there, you're giving yourself a chance, you're in range, and the ball doesn't go through the post. But it's not something to panic about, I don't believe. Just keep playing and keep going. Early on, the running game's been working well, and the offensive line has been pleased by that. The thought process there, catch those safeties creeping up, trying to help against the running game. They tried to hit them over the top, unsuccessfully.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Looking to throw is Mahomes. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Here's Mahomes to throw. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Darius Slay with a pick. And the Eagles will take over possession here up at the 44. Well, we heard all week that they were going to put the football in the air a lot. The problem is that is now 4 interceptions, Charles, that he has thrown in this first half. How do you treat a situation? What do you say to your quarterback right now?
Boy, that's an interesting question because a lot of it depends on the head coach and the people making the decisions. You have to know your quarterback and know if he's mentally tough enough to have a chance.
Oh, wide open, complete. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Jordan Reagor. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Eagles are able to add on to their first half lead. Elliott good on the extra point. And the route is on here in this first half. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. This is taken just shy of the 10. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
At their own 26-yard line.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. There was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You can never have enough points with the high-powered offenses that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity.
It's a big play there for the Chiefs.
And this offense needed something to try and seize the momentum a little bit. And that might have been exactly what they needed. Now they have a chance to go downfield and score and cut into the lead.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. Mahomes now to throw. That's caught left side by Hardman. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Final shot before the half from Mahomes. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. This is caught by Hill for a Chiefs touchdown. Tyreek Hill as time expires in the first half. And the Chiefs get a late touchdown here on the final play of the first half. Butker on for the PAT. Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. So 2 quarters down, 2 remain. Charles and I return after the break.
Both these teams making their final halftime adjustments. We're just about ready to get back to football. So for the call of the second half, we get back up to Philadelphia and Brandon Gott.
And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gott, getting set for quarter number 3 here. So the Eagles with the lead, and they're going to get this football first as the third quarter gets underway.
This is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15.
Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go.
And, Charles, they've got the lead. I would imagine the overall halftime tone was a positive one, but what do you think the talking points were in the locker room?
Well, if there were 3 talking points at the half, partner, all of them were about turnovers because they were pretty loose with the ball. Otherwise, this lead could be even bigger. Now, I don't think that they overly harped on it, but I think they told them, guys, if you want to keep calling those plays that are exciting, you've got to take care of the ball. Otherwise, we may have to dial things back a little bit.
Right back to Sanders on first down. And not much. Maybe a yard up to the 29.
When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37.
94 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
On third down, this is Howard. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
So now 1st and 10 in Chiefs territory at the 47. Sanders here as they run out of the gun. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
This drive is pretty clear. Almost feels like old school fundamentals, doesn't it? Want to impose their will on the defense. What's that, 5 straight runs?
Yeah, 5 straight carries to start this drive, and like you said, the way it's working, they may just stick with it. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9.
Hurts. Oh, that's into a double team, and it's intercepted.
Picked up by Juan Thornhill.
And the Chiefs will have solid field position here as they take over at their 45-yard line.
But pretty much everything went their way offensively in the first half, but now an interception on the opening drive of the third quarter.
As we know, the key to everything here, don't get careless with the football. The problem is you've got to stay aggressive as well. So where's the line between being aggressive and attacking and being overly aggressive? I think they just crossed it on that one.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive.
And they just got a little help from their defense forcing the turnover. Now can they make that pay off in points?
They need to, partner. They're down on the scoreboard. Need to take advantage of those opportunities, and this is a good one right in front of them.
And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown, so a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now, hopefully get to the perimeter later. And let's face it, you could do worse than a 4-yard run on first down.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Now a handoff here to his running back. And this effort won't be enough as they rally up to stop him a couple of yards short. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a fourth down. Here's the Chiefs punter now as he'll punt it away for the second time. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And the interception last time on the opponent's side of the field, certainly not what they wanted.
Put it mildly, that is so frustrating because that signifies there's a drive going on. You're in a good spot, great place to run some of your best offense. Instead, they turn the ball over.
Yeah, turned the ball over last time. See if they can avoid doing it here. A good gain on first has him set up with second and just a couple of inches now from the 29. Another run with Sanders. And some space here. And now off to the races down the right side. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Miles Sanders, his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Eagles add on to their lead. Good with a PAT, and they open the lead up now to 25. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Pulls it in at the 13. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape up past the 30.
The Chiefs take over first and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. They've got to dig down deep. I mean, they need something right now, really anything to cling on to. This offense has struggled.
Partner, join me in a walk to their locker room at the half, okay? Because I think what we would have seen is an offensive coordinator and his assistant coaches getting together with all their positions, then coming together as a group, going over adjustments, and then the head coach coming in and just screaming, wake up. Yeah. Let's get moving, guys.
I'm kind of glad we weren't in there at halftime, actually.
I mean, you think he might have turned it on us, too?
Yeah, but right now, whatever was said hasn't been working. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. A shotgun snap and a give to Edwards-Helaire. And he'll get this down only to about the 46. Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2.
Now, that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater. He just made a great play there.
Mahomes looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And that is knocked away in the middle of the field and incomplete.
Quarterbacks work all the time on manipulating the defense with their eyes and their head movement. In this case, he just stared the receiver down. That allowed for excellent coverage, able to knock that one away.
And now a whistle and a timeout called by the kicking team. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. I guess they figure they got to start taking some chances. Here's a big one in this third quarter as he'll go for it on 4th down. Now Mahomes. And now here's another interception. Picked off right around the 43. And they will set up shop at their own 46-yard line. I'm starting to wonder, Charles, if 5 interceptions, is that the last that we've seen of him?
Well, I think that a lot of people hope that's the last they've seen of him in this game, probably including himself. If this were baseball, the manager would have been in the mound already and asked for the ball, and he'd be in there getting a shower. But in football, you might have to go stand on the sideline and watch the rest of it and see if your backup can do any better.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Hurts a handoff to Sanders. And he'll take it across the 50 and into Chief territory. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3. Another run here with Sanders. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. He needed 3. He got 2. Now that'll set up an interesting situation here on 4th and a yard. The Eagles send out their punter now. On, we think, to punt, though he's faked it earlier, but he was unsuccessful. And they're going to try this again. It's another fake. Oh, and this turns into a mess as it's intercepted. Picked off at the 22. And he's able to take this one back to the 36-yard line. Well, sometimes the fake punts work out. They're fun, and you're so smart for doing it. And sometimes, Charles, what happens is an epic fail, and what we just saw was an epic fail.
And you're right about that, because the key here is the element of surprise. You have to catch a defense completely unaware that this might happen, this might occur. Unfortunately, somehow they tipped it off, or they were just well coached and on their toes.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. Open man here. It's the tight end, Kelsey. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. It's a big play there for the Chiefs. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. From the gun, he'll hand this off. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Sure didn't take this offense long to get within striking distance of the end zone. 2 plays.
Feel the energy? You can just feel it, can't you? Because they are creating it on offense, the way they're running the football. Now they've swept into the red zone. Momentum all on their side.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. Gonna give this time to the tailback. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play there. 2nd down. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. And he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it one more time. So make sure you get in shape.
2nd and 10. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11.
I'm getting the sense that Fletcher Cox is making offensive linemen want to take the week off when they have to play against him.
It's a regular routine for him, isn't it?
It really is. That play there, that's him all day long. Good luck trying to block him and keep him from disrupting your offense.
And it'll be intercepted. Picked up by Anthony Harris. And the Eagles are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. It'll be Sanders to begin the drive. Fights forward for only about a yard up to the 21.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
On 2nd and 9, Hurts airing it out deep for Smith. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's third down.
When you look at the scoreboard, you'd think they'd be pretty comfortable right now with this lead, but these guys are absolutely not going to let up. They want to increase their lead, and they want to do it with a big play. Unable to connect in that attempt.
They'll fake the give to Sanders, and now Hurts.
And this one is incomplete.
That's an excellent job right there on third down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a first down. Instead, you saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's fourth down.
So they're forced to punt on fourth as this one's away. Officially, that'll be marked down as just a 28-yard punt. And it's Chiefs football, 1st and 10. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And the interception thrown in the red zone last time. We'll see if they can rebound.
I just have to think the last thing he said as they went back out there was, don't do that again. What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that. I think that not only did he say that, but he also told him, let's put it in the end zone that it's supposed to be in, all right? The end zone we're trying to score. I know we're being a little bit facetious here, but the bottom line is take care of the football, and everything else should flow from there.
Quick lesson, never ask the play-by-play guy a question.
Hey, you're my partner. I know you're right there with me.
And across the midfield, stripe into Eagle territory. 5 yards, now it's 3rd and 5.
Man, these guys may not win this ball game, but you certainly can't fault the effort of this man here today. He's been a real thorn in their sides all afternoon. And that last carry puts him over the 100-yard mark.
He's going to find his tight end Gray complete. And he will have a Chiefs first down by about a yard as they find a way to convert there on 3rd down and 5. First and 10, it's Edwards-Helaire with it.
And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. First down marker at the 31. It's 3rd down. He'll look to throw. He's going to launch this thing way downfield. And unable to connect. Incomplete. Give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
We've talked about it, CD, but it bears repeating. They are struggling to throw the football. All the interceptions and more incompletions. It just doesn't look like things are in sync out there.
I would agree with that, and it's not a good day when you feel like an incomplete pass is almost a win for you because it wasn't intercepted. And I think the receivers now, when they're running their routes, they want to catch the ball, but they also want to make sure that the defenders don't take it away.
And this one is no good. He missed it. And this score will stay right where it is. So it's a rare 2-miss ball game for him now. Normally one of the more dependable guys you're going to find around.
Very unlike him. One of the better kickers in the NFL. And I don't think there's anything wrong with him physically or mechanically. He's just having one of those games.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Early down stuff will put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
2nd down, back to Sanders.
And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. It's been a remarkable day at the office for him running the football. Those yards just continue to pile well past 100.
And how about more than double-digit carries in the second half alone? That's what you want as a runner because you've got to prove to your offensive line is you're going to be as tough as they are. They don't rotate in and out on every play. Running backs often do, so those who can stay out there with their offensive linemen, those are the guys they really value.
They're going to snuff this play out behind the line. We have not seen that much today. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. It's a 2nd down run with Sanders. And he'll go down, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter of action. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. Give him 5 on the QB run, but it's going to bring up a 4th down. Going for it with Sanders. And I'm not sure he got there. Did they stop him? They did. He needed a yard. He didn't get anything. And the Chiefs defense comes up with a stop. Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at about the 32. They'll try and start this drive in the air. This is caught by Robinson. A gain of 6 there on 1st. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Mahomes. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here.
As his old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out high. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
From the gun on 3rd down, Mahomes. It's complete to Robinson. And he will have a Chiefs 1st down as they convert on 3rd and 3 with a nice gain of 7 yards. Had to put that ball in there with a little extra zip, and he put it right where it needed to be.
Yeah, and that little extra pace that he had on the pass, that required a little extra concentration for him, didn't it? Ball can get on you pretty quick in that manner, and he handled it.
Fighting through it, he's got space. Past the 20. And he will take it on in for a Chiefs touchdown. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 55 yards. And the Chiefs are able to cut into this lead.
Bottom line, when you play a runner with these talents, you've got to be able to wrap up and get him on the ground. Or the first person who gets there, hold him up long enough for the next wave to get there and get him down. Otherwise, he will continue downfield and find pay dirt.
Butker now to add the extra point. And that'll cut the lead down now to 18.
Makes the score Eagles 38, Chiefs 20. Harrison Butker to kick off 14 decision.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. Pulls it in at the 13. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30, up to the 33. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And last time this unit was out here, costly turnover, and then that turned into 6 points. They've got to make amends.
And how many times have we sat in meetings with coaches and they use the term complementary football? Offense take care of the defense, defense take care of the offense. That didn't happen on the last possession. This is a chance for them to pick themselves back up and help their team.
Yeah, we'll see if they can recoup and recover. Second and 8. They'll go again with Sanders. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a 1st down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. they feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
They'll run on first down. Sanders. And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at second down. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40.
At carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
Running on first down is Sanders, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage before he's taken down. A loss of 1.
On this day, the ground has been his, but at least on that individual play, we just saw the defense finally with a win.
Yeah, they finally got one, and that's a win for them, but all game long, he's seen the holes, and they've been huge for him. Kind of like a baseball hitter in the zone. The ball seems bigger, and he's just whacking it. These guys, they've got it going today. Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces, and I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
He's going to go out of bounds, but he takes this one down just shy of the 20.
Well, normally you might say start running the football. You've got the lead here in the fourth quarter, but the way that they passed it with such success, I don't know, maybe keep throwing it.
Yeah, I think you brought up something that goes against conventional wisdom, right? In this stage of the game, you would think you would switch to a running attack, but you're exactly right. They've thrown it so well throughout the game, and trusting this quarterback, I think you continue to do so.
He can't, man. He's not going to get me.
On first down, it's Sanders, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now.
Let's make these babies cry all the way back home, y'all. Let's make these babies cry.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Hurts. And this is caught in the end zone by Jalen Reagor. Touchdown, Eagles. Jalen Reagor there to make the grab. And the Eagles able to push further out in front.
You have fun with this one, partner?
I am. I mean, he's been fun to watch under center.
We always talk about, getting to the next level, right? When we see people get into the zone, this guy's in the master class right now. What a performance he's putting on, just carving them up.
4 touchdown passes, carving them up is right. Seems like everything he throws is going to be a completion and going in the end zone. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away.
Taken from about the 12. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
7 yards, the pickup there. On 2nd down, a run with Edwards-Helaire.
And this won't be enough to pick up the first. A gain of 2, 3rd and 1.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
Mahomes looks to throw on 3rd down. And my goodness, another interception. Picked up by Anthony Harris. And a great return as he gets this all the way down close to the 30-yard line. The number 7 usually lucky here. Not for him. 7 picks he's thrown in this game. That's only happened 6 times since 1960.
And I know that the most recent time it happened, the guy who threw him, he'd won a Heisman Trophy in college, so sometimes you just have a lousy game. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad career, but when you're talking about one game, 7, you're right, not lucky at all.
Yeah, Ty Detmer the last to do it in 2001 to throw 7 picks. Nick Bolton there on the tackle. Here's 2nd and 10. They go play action with Hurts. There goes a deep ball, end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And the Chiefs are going to get the football here as the ball will come out to the 20. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Taking a deep shot here for Hardman. And now here's another interception. Darius Slay with a pick. And they finally put it into this return, but not before he's all the way down to the 37. With that interception, he just set a record that nobody ever wants to set, and that's the most picks ever in an NFL game. 8.
The last time we saw 7, 2001, right?
Yeah.
Ty Detmer. He's with the Lions at that time. To get to 8, are we sure he knows what color jerseys his team's wearing in this one?
I don't know. It has not been good. Second down, back to Sanders. Nothing doing. Barely able to muster a yard to hit the 35.
Back-to-back runs, I'd say that encompassed maximum effort for minimal gain.
Minimal yardage, and now they're going to need something more than minimal on this play coming up. Throwing is Hurts. Rush coming, and he's taken down. It'll be a loss of 8 on the sack, and it's going to lead him to 4th down. Here's Jake Elliott. Career long, by the way, for him, 61 yards. And they're going to fake it. He wants to throw it here. Now Minshew has it knocked out. Fumble. And I think the Chiefs have it. They do. It would have been a long field goal. The fake doesn't work out. And the Chiefs defense comes up with a stop. Well, that was a long attempt to begin with, so the fake you might have known was somewhat of a possibility. Credit to the defense, though. They weren't fooled.
You're right. They weren't fooled. And they were in a position of having to play it both ways. Guard for the fake, but you still want to rush the kicker because it was a makeable kick. So they ended up getting the best out of the whole thing. Stuffed the fake, and they take over the ball.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Mahomes going to throw. Fighting to stay upright. Looking downfield for Kelsey. And my goodness, another interception. Picked up by Rodney McLeod. And the Eagles are going to get the football here at their own 23. And just another reason to celebrate there on the defensive side with the interception. And this is a game that they clearly have firmly in their grasp.
Yeah, a lot of handshakes, a lot of hugs, a lot of smiles. It's been their day.
They start on the ground here at Sanders. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Options galore here. Second and a few inches. Hurts sets up to throw it. Open man has got it, the tight end.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
They'll run on first down. Sanders. It was Jaron Reed who got him down.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
Second down, back to Sanders.
And they will only muster a yard here to the 38.
Let's give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They've been able to move the ball really well on the ground the entire game, and while that wasn't a huge one, that's okay. They'll take them in short, steady bursts.
The Eagles on third down. They've converted 5 times in their many chances thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. He'll look to throw. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by Melvin Ingram. And they will finally stop him, but a great return. Gets that football all the way down to the 16-yard line. What a play. The big man comes up with the interception. Puts together, Charles, a nice little return, too.
Yeah, he's not going to make anybody forget Darrell Green or Rod Woodson, but look at him lug that thing. He decided it was his. A lot of people might have thought about lateraling it there. No shot. Trying to take it the distance.
They'll run here with Edwards-Helaire.
And he's able to get this inside the 10 now to the 9. A good run there on first down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2.
I'd say it's pretty good strategy. If you throw interceptions on back-to-back drives, let's see if the running backs can handle the ball a little bit, get things going. And also, you motivate your offensive line. I think they're in a mood to fire out and hit someone.
I thought the defense, though, might be a little more prepared for that run. Pretty good gain on the ground. They got 2 of the 3 they needed there. It leaves them with 3rd and just a yard. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Chiefs in possession of the ball as we welcome you back. They face a 3rd down now as they try to find a late score.
Edwards-Helaire, they'll try to run for it.
And he's able to pick up the first before he's brought down inside the 5 at the 4.
Well, someone's been having a good game so far, and you know something? A lot of it's been power running. They decided to turn him loose again on 3rd down, didn't they?
They did indeed. He delivered the tough yards.
They'll run with Edwards-Helaire.
And he'll dive forward here to make sure he gets something out of that one, but not much. Only a yard that time, 2nd and goal.
Well, Brandon, we always know that once you score 1 touchdown,
You want to.
you're without a doubt. And so far today, he's got 1, but was denied as he tried to get.
And he's going to take it into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Chiefs use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. Extra point by Butker is on target, and that'll cut the lead down to 18.
Chiefs 27. Harrison Butker to kick off 14-2.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away.
Taken at about the 1. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18.
Now the Eagles will use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the first down. try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line, and I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get in behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine.
And this is going to be an Eagles first down as the tackle made just shy of the 30.
Brendan, every great running backs coach I've talked with has always talked about when you have great vision, you're not consciously thinking about your cuts and your moves. You're just doing them. And I think that's what we're seeing tonight. He's about to run them into submission, hasn't he?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to use that phrase. He has run them into submission.
Wave the white flag.
And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. The linebacker, Anthony Hitchens, there on the stop. So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Shotgun snap, and then the give to Sanders. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.